Welcome to another musical self-analysis video. I'm going to improvise over this beat I made, then I'm going to listen back and tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, and what I was thinking. Here we go. All right, let's see how it went. I really like those kinds of articulations where you get vibrato by going left and right. Normally it's up and down like this, but I'm doing it side to side by literally going to other frets. And I do this with my index finger. I'm used to like sort of skating around the strings with it. And so I have more accurate squiggles from side to side. I can do half steps, I can do whole steps, and the bigger the squiggle, the less accurate I get. But here's minor thirds, and major thirds, and fourths. They start to all kind of sound the same, but half steps, whole steps, those are really good. If you want some real cool inspiration for this, check out Srinivas, who's an Indian mandolin, amazing musician, and does really cool inflections. Let's get back into it. I like that I played C on the B string and also C on the E string at the same time. And then I moved the index finger C on the E string up a half step. And that makes a really nice crunch. I've mostly been hanging out just on the B string until now. I think this is the first time I'm really going to other strings. Now I'm focusing more on the G and D strings. So it's not like I went from just playing one string to now playing all strings. I went from playing just one string to now focusing on two other strings, the D string and the G string. And so they can have a conversation with each other. One voice is like, oh, hello, and the other one's like, oh, hello. It's not like they're super far apart, but one of them, the G string, has more of like this kind of a voice versus So yeah, you can do call and response. The relationships are getting more and more complicated, but I'm not jumping too far too fast, which leaves me a lot of room to grow. So there I had a mistake. I had the open G string show up. And I did what you're supposed to do, which is just repeat the mistake a bunch of times, make it into a thing. So now I have this open G drone happening while I'm doing lines. this is a interesting problem I face, which is when I start playing really hard like this, and all my picking is down picking, my wrist starts to get like really tense, and I could just do the same thing and physically stay light while playing hard if I just use the bounciness of my wrist more, but instead I'm like kind of pounding into it too hard. And so then my wrist gets like locked up, and I lose a lot of my like dexterity and flexibility for like light lines like this. You can even hear just then I was having trouble getting those out because I had just been locked up a second ago. What affects your execution of a fast thing the most is not how you play the fast thing, it's what you played right before the fast thing. So if you play stuff that gets you really tense and locked up, you're not going to be able to play as light as you need to play something fast after it. And it's the same thing with singing. If your technique and your resonance and everything is pretty relaxed and where it needs to be, you'll be able to hit higher notes and have more flexibility in your voice with whatever you sing next. But if you're really tense and you're pushing out your tones, the next thing you play, that tension is going to need to be relieved. So you're going to be less flexible, and you might have a harder time hitting the big notes. And you can hear I'm locked up from all like the chaotic like open strings and how hard I'm playing. I like the actual result here, the way it sounds, and the music is really cool, but I'm doing this mostly because I have to. It's the only kind of stuff I can play after the long down picking, getting more and more tense thing. And I don't think I relieve my tension very much for a while. Let's see if it ever goes away. Yeah. Once I started down picking like that, you'll notice I never went back to like alternate picking very much. I stayed with down picking the rest of the time because I was tired. So your technique is a lot about staying light and loose. I want to try and find other ways to relax myself again while I'm playing after I do something that gets me tense. If you'd like me to give you feedback on your music, head on over to benlevinmusicschool.com and take a lesson with me.